Pain. Pain is probably what you might be feeling depending on if this new mic setup I have it doesn't work or not, because this is going to be a long episode, and I really don't want to re-record it. So, this is dating all the way back to December 7th. Chris tweets out just ... pain. So, the backstory of this is the previous day he had been tweeting out some artwork, and I believe somebody accused him of copying their art again. So Chris wasn't actually in pain, he actually just felt bad, because he doesn't like when he receives any amount of criticism. So we have Aqua Diamond here responding, "Are you okay, Christine? Is something troubling you?" "Last night, troubling still me. Up shook I not am only still, virus possible. Rest need I, bed in I am. Else to everyone, want laugh you all. This serious is very. Last night you I told last while long will stress this." Why are you typing like Yoda, though? So this is something that Chris Chan does all the time. Whenever he's trying to play up feeling sick or bad or having a headache for sympathy, he'll just type all the words in a sentence out of order. Sometimes he'll write sentences backwards, because I don't know. I don't know. That's like maybe the logic that a very young child would use to want to pretend on how to actually mimic being sick or disturbed mentally, but he does it all the time, and he is in his late 30s, so, that's fun. "Are you okay? Did something happen?" "Feel well I not." Okay, so I don't feel well. I need rest. My head hurts. My urinary tract infection is acting up. That's great. Didn't know he had one of those. Thanks, Chris. Pee wanting to. Okay, so he wants to pee. No feeling not I well am. Yes, recover I be will. Super stressed ears, Pachirisu, round face to got me. So now he's just typing nonsense. Like, Pachirisu? Really? It's a Pokemon. Email received. Project SNT vent with. Expect Courtney did then better that I. Napkin. So, Project SNT is basically the art thing I was just talking about. So here's basically the explanation. Are you just upset that people liked those chaotic combo redesigns better than the originals? No, you don't understand. I was triggered bad from seeing them in the video. Commentary and opinions from other people had nothing to do with it. So yeah, it was just people talking about his art, talking about other people's art, saying that other people's art was better than his. The owner of this account limits who can view their tweets. This could possibly be Jacob, not sure. His response is, "Thank you," backwards. Napkin. Yes, indeed. Courtney, I'm assuming that this is whoever made this video that Chris is talking about. Courtney was just chronicling characters that have already existed in another dimension. I don't understand why you got mad. Yeah, the real mystery about Chris is that nothing is consistent. And then, even though that night he was in ... pain, the next day he did a full live stream where he reviewed all of the Sonichu Secret Ships whatever folder products, which is exactly what a sick person would do. Oh, wait, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but you know what? It actually works. So remember, Gaius Emmanuel, this is Jacob. He actually is going to stop tweeting relatively soon after this point, December 9th. So this is hopefully one of the last times we'll get to see him. He says, "A great evil is stirring and directing ill will towards the goddess. Please continue to support the goddess in any way possible. Check out her merchandise. They make the best gifts for Chris to miss." Great. It's great. And Chris quote tweets this and says, "I've just completed a lovely bunch of ship and goal cards featuring the art of the very talented Piccolini Fellini." I don't know how to say that name. Order now to guarantee delivery before Christmas 2019. You can see that I might be a little behind on this video. So we have this terrifying abomination eyeball thing. Girl meeting Magic-chan, Chris making out with, While I was visiting Lucas, Devil, and Eva, Chriselle, Magic-chan, Sylvana, and Mewtwo were nearby to make positive her visit, and her person were safe and good. During the time, I proved Chriselle's presence by not only talking with her, but also making out with her. So if you've seen that video that the Teen Troon Squad uploaded of Chris just making out with the air, this is what he was imagining. Which is, I don't know, disturbing on many, many levels. To actually see him commission somebody to draw that for him. Great. Cold virus update. My voice is shot. That grinds my gears and pisses me off. Continuing on with simple rest, meditation, positivity maintenance, and taking medicine, vitamins, enjoying chicken noodle soup, and drinking lots of water. No voice? Making a kettle of tea with fresh lemon juice. I'll enjoy it hot from the old mug of my father's. So we get to see his father's mug. This is pretty nice. And then we get to see that he actually has one of the cooler CSGO skins for his kettle. Good morning, I am still recovering. The virus is being stupid, but I'm physically pushing it away. Yet it decided to attack my throat again. At least my voice is not shot again. Hold up. Aren't you a goddess? How come you are vulnerable to something so weak as common cold? Use your powers to fix it already. I'm still learning my better magics and powers. You've been doing that for like 2 years, Chris. I wonder if there's any, because, okay, so, like, assumedly, you know, we all know that Chris is very unhealthy, but he could potentially live for, like, another 40 years, right? Is Chris going to think that he's still developing his magic powers for, like, the next 40 years of his life? How long until it's become so ridiculous that even he can't continue to justify it? That's a solid question. He goes, I'm still learning my better magics and powers. I've been able to stave off the viral infection for months. The virus snuck in when I was hyper-stressed from being extensively triggered by Project SNT's redesign video. That's funny. Maybe the reason that Chris is so triggered from the redesigning of the chaotic combo is because, if you guys don't remember from some of my Jacob videos, Chris has been doing this ritual where every night he has to have sex with all of the members of the chaotic combo, and that will it'll put Magi-Chan's spirit into some, like, actual doll that he has, or maybe Jacob has the doll, and then Magi-Chan will be real in our dimension with real magic, and he'll be able to fight Jacoba and make the merge happen. It was something like that. So maybe Chris thinks that by redesigning the chaotic combo, it'll somehow interfere with this magic. That's the kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to justify total inconsistent nonsense. Hey y'all, update on this cold. It's giving me nasal problems now, and it still lingers in the throat. It does not feel as bad as earlier. Also, I have found the reasoning behind the triggering from Project S&T's redesign of the chaotic combo. There was a disturbance in their Dungeons & Dragons-like home dimension of CS-89, which is literally the main home of Plutia and Pishi in their CPU leadership over Plain Platoon. I don't know what any of that is. I'm assuming that these are either from Project Neptunia thingy, or if these are S&T's other OCs, I don't know. Anyway, there have been a number of migrations of individuals and items from CS-89 to C-197, fated or forced. Even entire dungeon cave areas were being relocated via heavy magic from there. I'm projected there, as a cleric, working on, analyzing, and finding the solutions before something really bad could happen to CS-89. This seems to be the right path, as I'm finding less visual offense from Magi-Chan Solana differences. Not triggering. Go figure, a subconscious trigger event being a call for help from another dimension. Magi-Chan Solana, class wizard. Okay, so I guess this person made D&D redraws of the chaotic combo into this other dimension, which is CS-89, which I guess is the Dungeons & Dragons dimension. And Chris is now saying that the triggering that he got from seeing their redesigns was subconscious, and it was actually calling him for help so that he could go and help this other dimension. Anywho, I'm about to get some food for this body. I'll check back later. Chris, you stole a cat. Is it still alive? Oh man, rip Posey. Chris, it's a cold. I finally drew SNT. So I guess SNT is a person, probably a YouTuber, and their OC. Although it ended up being a chronicling of a chat she and I had about a couple of months ago. Also, Alt Dimension Sonic Chews and Roast Chews that this person has drawn is an idea for a card game expansion pack. If she would like to collab a bit on it, she has my email. So he went from being so upset by this that it made him physically ill, or he believes it made him physically ill, to now having it be part of his card game. This is a long thread of people saying that Chris is delusional and not being respectful towards him, etc. And it ends with this person. And now you go to the real fact of the matter. 2 points. 1, she can believe whatever she chooses, she being Chris. 2, the same tired things people like you have been saying have not only been 100% ineffective, but has also done irreparable damage over the years if she was delusional, which she isn't. So I personally have 2 points about this. 1, as long as she's not oh my god, as long as he's not harming anybody, Chris can technically believe to choose whatever he believes in. The problem is that eventually it ends up harming himself, and that as a society, we generally like helping people out of delusions, and so it would be best if Chris wasn't deluded like this. The second point is also technically true, that trolling Chris underneath his Twitter comments is 100% ineffective, and that the other trolls have caused him irreparable damage. I don't think that the people who are currently tweeting under Chris are causing him any damage just by saying he's not a goddess, but that has definitely happened in the past. But the main point is that Chris responds to this by saying, "Thank you for understanding, 3 stars," which means that he actually reads these threads, and he probably reads them a lot. And anybody who is defending Chris, especially, like, I don't think that Eshkal actually believes that Chris is a goddess or whatever, but by defending Chris, they're actually helping Chris believe in his own delusions more. Anybody who defends Chris on this stuff, even if they don't personally believe it, is just feeding into Chris's delusions, and that's actually probably more harmful than the light trolling of Chris beneath his tweets. Honestly, the best solution is just to not tweet at Chris at all. Another cold update. I am feeling better stamina, and the virus is in my nose right now. That's not how viruses work. I've had a few sneezing fits, but I'm good for the majority. Unfortunately, Crizel caught my cold, but she will recover. Magichan, I, Sylvana, Mewtwo, and the others have her back. I always forget that Crizel exists. Finally, I can show off one of my promo cards that is actually linked with I Love KPA's a lot Princess Bride. I was asked to contribute a couple of art pieces. The subtle one in the dungeon is funny. I pray y'all enjoy the show. Is this a retelling of Princess Bride with My Little Ponies? That's something, I guess. And I guess they included Chris drawing a meme there. Anyway, the important part of this is him saying, I was only super happy and humbled to contribute and help. I pray I get invited to help on other vids later on, including being Nightstar on My Little Pony seasons 10 to 14. So Chris not only wants them to continue making 5 more seasons of My Little Pony, which is not going to happen because the show is over, but he actually wants to voice his OC on the show. And that's just something. Chris finally got over his cold on December 13th. Cold update. My throat is no longer feeling sore, and my nose is feeling less leaky. Feeling pretty good right now. Okay, so here is an actual website covering a new screenshot and story details for a Hyperdimension Neptunia spin-off. Chris tweets this and says, check this out, yet another sign of the dimensional merge, as even Idea Factory Intel is chronicling the CPU's efforts in making it happen. That's the creators of the game. Yet they should have heard of Scarlet and I, being the past and present CPUs of the Commodore consoles and Quickville. So, a sign of the dimensional merge is another entry in an ongoing video game series coming out, because everything to Chris is a sign of the dimensional merge, and he is actually upset that he is not going to be in the game, because obviously the game developers should have heard of them if they are actually chronicling this other dimension. Hey everyone, I just got the Night V and the Twilight Sparkle Super Chip Ship folder Warriors for Andromeda expansion pack, and I set up this grid for the product photo on my shop page. Note, this was manifested with the combination of the Sonichu deck and the Sonichu and Rosechu, Chris Chan, and Night V packs, and a few of the promo cards. It will be noted that only the one Night V expansion pack is the product in question. Then why would you take this picture, Chris? But this works in showing an example of a shipping grid that could be made. Also, note, the small removed from play pile on the right of the grid, as well as how everyone is arranged. I made sure the Night V Warrior cards were the main focus and majority. So he's got all these wonderful pictures. Woo, woo, look at all these cards that he made and spent money on making. I'd love to know how much he's actually making from these, like if people are actually buying them. But it's silly. What's really upsetting about this, it's not so much that people are like buying these cards or anything. It's that he thinks that this is like going to grow into something in the future, right? Like, it's one thing for him to put his time and effort into something, right? That's what he's been doing for Sonichu for over 10 years, and that's actually good, and people enjoy it when he makes new comics. The thing is that his current fans don't actually like that he's doing this, and this isn't going to attract any new attention. So it's going to go nowhere, and I don't think he's going to be happy with that result. I think he actually thinks he's going to make money from this, and I doubt that he will. Okay, so the context behind this is J.K. Rowling made a tweet defending I'm going to get all these details wrong. J.K. Rowling made a tweet defending a newscaster or a journalist or someone who said that there are gender differences between men and women. It was something like that. So it's about the transgender issues in politics and stuff. And so people started attacking J.K. Rowling because she's not being politically correct. So Chris Chen says, also, at the risk of being blocked by J.K. Rowling, I feel I, too, must respond to her recent act. I heavily and personally disagree. People can have their physical gender, which is a complete nonsense word because gender is not physical, that would be sex. People can have their physical gender changed. It has been proven and done before, and I, as a legitimate CPU and goddess, personally know too. Maybe Chris means that people can have their gender changed via magic. Because he's a CPU goddess. I don't know, I might give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, and not just him being completely uneducated as to what the trans movement actually is, despite him claiming to be one. I continue to be proud of being trans, and for supporting other trans and everyone else in the LGBTQ plus trans rights. Something different today for lunch. I've been re-binging Kim Possible on Disney+, so I love Kim Possible a lot. If you're seeing this, 2 soft-shelled tacos and an order of nachos. I made a nacho. That's nice. It doesn't look like he made anything. I can't tell exactly what this is, but it definitely looks like the wrapping that you get at a fast food place. Yeah, Chris made absolutely nothing. Okay, so it was actually not until Christmas Eve that Chris's sinus infection was totally gone. Oh, before I forget to mention, my sinus infection is gone. I'm feeling quite good now. Also expect a new drawing in a while that will become 8 lovely promo cards. A new drawing to bring magic and shine to your holiday. Chaos Control. So I know that Chris likes drawing on paper, and there was a long time where he thought that drawing on paper was like more real and doing it on the computer was cheating. But I really wish someone would show him just like how to do it on a computer, even if he's just like in MS Paint, or if someone gets him a tablet or something, because like drawing this all in purple, like first of all, he's got to be going through a lot of markers, but like it would be so much easier just to use the fill tool to get all these colors in, and it also looks terrible. Like, why is this part purple? I don't think this part was supposed to be purple. Okay, so New Year's Day. Well, here's an oldie. I got a fish. Would you like to make a wish? First tweet of 2020. That's an old Chris Chan quote. Let's not forget about this one. What the? Sonichu run. Well, you don't have to tell me twice, but during the Stone Age, ... Classic Sonichu nonsense. And Chris reminds us, you would have to knock some sense into those boneheads. Still, doesn't make any sense. Also, I do not think that this is verbatim the way that Chris explained it the very first time. This is great. On a positive note, I have received a most lovely and exquisite item. A glace water bottle, complete with real amethyst. I have put my own energy into the stone of meditation, and I've even dipped my lightning strike quartz in the filtered water in it. It is rejuvenating. So Chris is spending money on crystals. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. $85 for a rock in a bottle, and you have court fees to pay. So yeah, it looks like whatever he bought was about $85. And yes, Chris still is going to court for the debts that he and Barb have not paid. Okay, so Chris has a Discord server. And when they first set it up, Chris tweeted out the link to the server, and it was like an open link, so obviously it got flooded with a bunch of trolls and stuff, and it's been hard for them to control and all that fun things. The bad thing about Chris's server is that he's barely ever on it. So like, there's a whole Q&A board for people to ask Chris questions, and he doesn't. So he says, I know I should be online more often and talk on those servers, but I have tons of other responsibilities. Work and fated events to do and deal with. I'm not the type of individual who frequently responds and types online or whatever. What, Chris? That's what you do all day. That's what you do on Twitter all day. But I am uber busy offline. The fact that I don't respond often or frequent enough is my problem that I ought to work on as soon as I am able. That is all from now. Oh my god. Hey everyone, firstly and foremostly, I will get to proper book chronicling of the past plot hole fillings and present-day events when I am able to. So he's basically saying that he's going to get back into the comics, which he hasn't been writing for a long time because of his stupid card game. The events that are canon and will be book chronicled by me, personally, are all happening right freaking now in these moments. It is indeed most serious, especially since these are the in-progress sequence of events of the dimensional merge, and the coming together of all OCs, creators and creations between here 1218 and there C197, and beyond, including its Equestria. Any and all present time pesterings of where are the comics, and which versions of Marvel, DC, Disney, Nintendo, Sega, Anime, Sony, Microsoft, LucasArts, Star Trek, Transformers, fanfics, etc. are in C197, they're all in the same central dimension. Not all 1218's chroniclings media are spot on in detail. There are minute mistakes from those creators and chroniclers, because they worked together and had altered versions amongst themselves from the original creator-chronicler. So he's saying that not all of 1218's, which is our dimensions, not all of our tellings of these fictional worlds like Marvel, DC, Disney, Star Trek, they're not all accurate because the original creator isn't involved in all aspects of the storytelling. I guess that's what he's saying. Therefore, you may as well throw your past logics out the window now, and open your mind and listen up now, because it is all happening in real time. It has been happening in real time. With that, we personally are in need of better help in this restrictive dimension that has been getting inflowing magics and powers now, and better so. Presently, I need the help that only the staff and past-present patrons of the Endgames can provide. What is that? Okay, Charlottesville source for serious gaming. So it looks like this is a comic book / card game shop in Charlottesville. Great. I need the help that only the staff and past-present patrons of the Endgames can provide. I'm in requirement of learning and playing Dungeons & Dragons. Great. Great, Chris has a new interest. He's going to ruin that too. Cannot wait. Playing Dungeons & Dragons offline and mainly within the endgames, with the players who have been presently going there before January 1st, 2020. My physical mind is still learning the details of the game. His physical mind. And I require further help in better comprehending the Dungeon Master's screen, typical habits and wordings of such relevant in this dimension, and I'm still befuddled by the too many dice variation this game utilizes. Oh my god, there's only like 6 dice, Chris. And I need offline player EXP and learning for myself and my personal character sheet. I think that means that Chris now thinks that he in goddess form gets XP like in Dungeons and Dragons. Is that what he's saying? Who's playing D&D with Chris? That's the real question. Do these people know who Chris is? Imagine like you're LGS and you're playing D&D and it's like, a weekly meetup thing. It's totally open to the public and Chris Chan walks in. Like, what is that like? I cannot comprehend. No one else other than the players at the end game, and my past-present friends at the Pokemon TCG League. There, as well, for my closest friends of the League are fated to work with us for the common goals and greater good of saving these very Earths between both dimensions. And going out to their pizza parlor event is only a pebble in comparison to that within the endgame store. What? So, Shaw and Bree, I respect you both, but times are at hand, and judgment hardships are moot at this time. Your response to the parcel's letter that I have sent you to you all must be positive and posted online now, please. Your goddess I, CPU Blueheart, humbly beseech thee in this precipice. This is indeed real and serious. I require your help in helping everyone, period. So Chris is playing Pokemon and Dungeons & Dragons at a local card game store, and he now thinks that these people can, help him, and I guess they go out for pizza together, and he sent them something, possibly in the mail. He calls it a parcel. But, he's asking for their help now. And this is kind of crazy. I don't know if these people know what they're getting themselves into or if they're going to know how to respond to this. Yeah, look. The fact that you're trying to command people even though you have no power over them to do so. Grow up. Yeah, that's kind of scary. Remember when I said a couple of minutes ago that Chris isn't interfering with, other people's lives by believing in this nonsense? Well, I guess I was wrong. So, you guys know how I haven't had, a video about Chris in, a month? That's mostly because, nothing has been happening. So I've been having a real busy time in my life, and whenever I go to check on Chris and be like, oh, should I talk about something? There's nothing happening. We're literally caught up to present day. And this whole video isn't even that long compared to a lot of my other ones. So here's going to be Chris talking about incest. Hey everyone, a think piece I wish to offer in regard to an awful premise that has been stated about me before. Preface. Sonichu and Rosie's relation to myself, and Christine Chan. Christine Chan is my main central self counterpart in C197. So, pictures of Sonichu, Rose Chu. This is Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, and Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. So, one of these is Chris in real life, and one of these is Chris in the other dimension. And these are different. You have to remember that. Okay, so acting independently while partially taking X number of attributes from me, directly and physically, from my subconscious. I discovered and created Sonichu and Rosie. The very first Sonichu and Rose Chu in all existence. I don't think that's accurate, because I think that the other Sonichu eggs were sent back in time, right? So they'd be older? I think that's something he said before. Christine Chan was aware of my existence nearly her whole life, and she had titled herself as Sonichu and Rosechu's original creator, while in fact I was the original creator of the three of them, in the sense. There's a ship in between the respective original creator and original creations. So he's saying that because... So I think the problem is that Chris created both Sonichu and Rosechu. Therefore, Sonichu and Rosechu are both his children. Therefore, Sonichu and Rosechu are brother and sister, but they're also married. And I think that's what he's getting at. While neither Sonichu or Rosie are related by blood, they were related in the sense of them being the same OCs from I, their OC. So he's saying the same original creation from I, their original creator. And the same ruling is applied between them, and Christine Chan and I. No direct bloodline ship. But in the ship between original creation and original creator, the original creation is allowed to see the original creator as their legal guardian or parent, and optionally, the creator sewing their original creation as their non-related friends, allies, family, son, daughter, siblings, or whatever suits the individual creator. What? With that, my son and Rosie call me their mama, out of respect. They also called Christine Chan their mama, since she was a direct self-counterpart from me, working from my subconscious, believing for the long time that she was the original most creator of Sonichu and Rosie. Yes, she felt omnipotent in that, and it did not go to her head, but she got over that long ago when I made my better mark and participation activity in the area and lives. The hater-type trollish misconception of this relationship between original creator and original creation thrusted unnecessarily upon myself, Christine Chan, and Sonichu and Rosie, and I quote the trolls, without actually saying it about anyone or even endorsing it at all, incest being wincest. Oh my effing M.E.? I don't know what this acronym means. I won't go into detail, but I am well aware of what it is and entails, but it is not considered incest at all, when any relationship that happens between creator and creation that they do not share any bloodlines at all. And I, personally, seriously disapprove of incest. Oh, and would never practice it at all, obviously. I'm pretty sure that Chris has called his mother hot before, so I'm not sure about that one. You freaking hater types and your moot and nonsense fabrications of such negative circumstances upon anyone other than yourselves, thinking you're above us all, when you are not at all. You have just as much right and ability to socialize offline as most anyone. The major hang-up you have, and I do empathize on this, as this was I once upon a time over a decade ago, is being severely shy and socially awkward. That is not your fault, but you do have better resources these days to talk with others and to get help and insight on bettering yourself, so you're not stuck behind a monitor all day, 24/7 or whatever. And I know, get a job is never ever a good response at all, as most jobs are taken! Yeah, all the jobs are taken, Chris. You just can't go out and get one. Whew. You're not totally qualified. Your backroom checks are automatically epic fail. That one's true, for him at least. Regardless, or whatever is your original circumstances from fated events in your life. But I digress. Oh, wait, does Chris think that his past is all like fated events, as if he couldn't possibly have changed any of it? Because that is a good, well, okay, that's a bad coping mechanism, but it makes sense at least. The bottom line is, incest is never wincest. I really hope that someone just like randomly clicks ahead in the video and just gets to the line where I just read out, the bottom line is, incest is never wincest. Epic ugh. And you're pushing hatred on anyone else, including the other creators who have at least one creation that appeals to you, and your skill set may not include being able to make such good OCs. It is all moot and nonsense, which is why I am even more glad to ignore the majority of negative commentary anywhere online. And I also appreciate the irony that is present on the fact that I am continued to be talked about, concerned over, prayed to, and overall appreciated, despite the unnecessary hate and blank you may feel or want to shout off to get your own rubbing game on or whatever, even more ugh. Chris has never understood his trolls, and he never will. Never diffs the relationship between creators and creations, unless there is actual direct bloodlines between them. That doesn't make any sense. And do not misconceive or fabricate such negative nonsense upon anyone. Love conquers hate. Thank you for listening. Ahem. Past commentary aside, the thing with my mother was merely a forced propaganda upon me that temporarily got to me. That's the comment about his mother being hot. I am over that. As for Christine Chan and Nightstar, they are not direct bloodline relatives. They're alternate self-counterparts. Okay. So that means that you're not blood-related to other universe versions of you, I guess? I don't know. And he concludes this by saying, and now, the bottom line is, I did create the Sonichu and Rosechu species, Quickville, and my reserved area and share of C-197, along every other original creator. I will repeat myself this time. I share the dimension with all of the other original creators of this dimension. So everyone in our dimension that creates something goes to this dimension, even though he has said several times before that things like Skullgirls and Minecraft don't exist in that dimension, but whatever. He even said today that D&D doesn't exist in that dimension, but it's still really confusing. I do not think I could be any more clear on this point. I don't think this could be any more confusing. I don't think I could be any more clear. Great, Chris. That's fantastic. That is all for now. And that is actually all for now, because that is his most recent tweet. See, this wasn't actually that long of a video. What is it, like 40 minutes? That's about normal. So yeah, I'm sorry that it, I was off for a little while. I took like a month-long break. I was doing other stuff. I've been working on other things. I did a collab with another YouTuber that'll have up pretty soon. I'll have a link to that when it goes up, and I will tweet it out on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Chris hasn't really done anything else besides this that I have access to, at least. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at GiBi_Devin. Please subscribe so that you can see more Chris Chan updates. I will also be doing other things. I have my Absurds series, where my most recent episode is about the Gavel goat. That is a giant goat that they build in the town of Gavel, Sweden. And if you want to watch that, you can. It's a very interesting story. And if you want to learn what happened to this year's goat, stay tuned, because I'm making a video about that soon. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be back in just about a week's time, and it will not take me another month.